Hi everybody, and welcome to the briefing around the Age Proud Festival event at Leeds City Museum. My name is Linda Glue and I'm Programme Manager for Time to Shine at Leeds Older People's Forum.
Morning everybody.
My name is Leslie. Oh, sorry.
You go.
You go, Rich.
Morning everybody. My name is Rachel Brighton. I work in Public Health at Leeds City Council.
And my name is Leslie Wilcock and I am the Festival Coordinator.
Thank you. So just to give you a brief background to the festival. So Time to Shine is a lottery funded programme that sits within Leeds Older People's Forum, and Time to Shine began in 2015 with the aim of reducing loneliness and social isolation for older people in the city of Leeds. And it was due to end in March 21, but thanks to the COVID interruption, we had an extension that's taken us to the end of March 22. This festival was scheduled to happen last March, but for obvious reasons, we shelved the idea at the time due to the COVID response. But we've decided to go ahead with it this September. We've done so with a degree of trepidation, being concerned about COVID and numbers and restrictions, etc. So it has actually been pulled together fairly quickly. Hence what might feel like a fairly rushed approach from us, but it's taken shape beautifully, and thanks to all of you, we now have a really rich festival with activities going on all across the city. The event that you're coming along to is the Leeds Museum one, and we'll talk about the venue, etc. around that. But just to say that the purpose of the festival is to really showcase what a fabulous city Leeds is for people to grow older in, and the broad range of activities that there are available across the city. And the intention is to support older people to connect with others and to be active and to learn new skills and to give something back and just really appreciate all the wonderful things that there are to do in Leeds. So I'm going to pass over to Rachel Brighton now, who's going to give us a briefing around COVID and how we want to make the events safe for everybody. So I'm just going to pass over to Rachel now. There you go, Rachel, it's all yours.
Thank you. I'm just bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to share my screen.
Okay.
Sorry, just bear with us 1 second. There we go. Hopefully, I can't see things, but hopefully you can see my screen now.
We can, thank you.
Fantastic. So thank you for having us along. I'm just going to give a really quick update on the situation with COVID as it stands today. But as people are probably very well aware, the situation changes very quickly and on a daily basis. So just a reminder that we are living with COVID at the moment. COVID hasn't gone away. Our COVID infection rates in Leeds at the moment are continuing to rise, but very, very steadily at the moment. Concerning and really important for this group of people is the continuing now steady rise in people who are over 60. And we know that people who are over 60 are at greatest risk from COVID. Unfortunately, COVID isn't age proud, and age does continue to be a significant factor in becoming more poorly. So just that reminder really that we are continuing to live with this, and we need to continue to do everything we can to help keep other people safe and also to help keep people who are most vulnerable. Unfortunately, even with the rollout of the vaccine, it's really important that we remember this as well. And we're working really, really hard at the moment on kind of our next stage in terms of vaccines to help keep people safe. So I'll move on to my next slide. So the government have helpfully encouraged people to make informed choices themselves now about wearing a face mask. We strongly encourage everybody in Leeds to continue to wear a face mask. We know that people, all of us, are really, really heavily influenced on social norms and what we see around us. So we're asking that everybody involved with the festival in their day-to-day lives lead by example and continue to wear a face mask if they're able to help encourage others to help keep people feel safe when they're visiting our events and our buildings and our activities across the city. People have probably heard the government continue to tell us to keep 2 meters distance, and absolutely, where possible, we encourage social distancing at all times. And we would also encourage all venues, and I know Linda will go into a little bit more detail on this, but to keep venues ventilated, to give people opportunities if and where they can to be sitting near windows, to have doors open, but obviously whilst maintaining safety as well. And we continue to encourage people to wash their hands for longer, more often, for more than 20 seconds. So just that reminder that we can all lead by example, and we can all help improve social norms in our city to help other people feel safe in making those choices. To a couple of other things that we are strongly encouraging people to do, which you may already be doing. So it is no longer a legal duty for venues to ask customers to check in, but we strongly encourage you to do so. So this is having the QR code as people enter an event or a building, or asking people to collect their details. There was a lot of controversy, as people will probably remember, a few weeks ago now, where we heard about pingdemic, and people being pinged and told to self-isolate, and all of the complexities that added to the delivery of activities and services. So what happens now is if somebody is pinged, they are not required to self-isolate. If they're pinged to say they've been in close contact with somebody who's tested positive, they're not required to self-isolate, but they are advised to get a PCR test. So if people are worried about being pinged, if we can let people know that they won't be told to isolate, but they will be encouraged to get a test. And this is a real key thing that we can all do to help break transmission and help protect vulnerable and older people and ourselves and our colleagues. So we've just popped the link on this slide just to get your QR poster and any more details on that. We've also got lots of resources in Leeds for any venues, any activities, any events to get hold of communications, resources, posters to make sure everything is up to date and it's the consistent messages across the city. These are national, but we've also pulled together some very quick, very easy staying safe messages, particularly aimed at people who are over 60 or who are working with people who are over 60. So we recommend to keep a mask handy. So always have a mask in your pocket, your purse, the car, or your bag. So again, if we can encourage anybody coming to events to remember that top tip, to keep washing our hands for 20 seconds or more, to carry some hand sanitizer. So we know that lots of venues and activities and events will have hand sanitizer available, but if we can always encourage people just to have a little bottle in their bag as well. To take an extra step. So if we're talking to somebody, just take that extra step back, just to give that little bit of extra distance. Let the fresh air in, as I said, so open more windows, sit near a door, keep places well ventilated, and we can continue to test regularly, just to make sure that if we're moving around the city, moving around anybody else, we are up to speed and up to date on our own COVID status. So we've just put a couple of links in here just to help people keep up to date. The first one on the left hand side, so this is a COVID toolkit. This is a City Council toolkit, but it's available to anybody. So there's a Google Drive to go into that, and you can download national and local posters, resources around keeping safe, what to do in event of X, Y, and Z. And there's also social media content and lots of other things to get hold of there as well. Anything to do with the vaccine is on Leeds CCG website, so that's the box in the middle. So if you want to know any details on where to get the vaccine, how to encourage and support other people to get the vaccine, details on vaccine hesitancy, FAQs, where the roving bus is or where any community provision is, that can all be accessed from the CCG website. And then the top tips that I just mentioned is that box on the right hand side. So if you're talking to older people, got any comms with older people, you can make use of that website as well for those top tips. Last thing I think from me is we've pulled together a very quick checklist to support anybody who is working with older people. It's a very quick checklist that you can hand to your staff or to your volunteers if you choose to do so. You can work through it yourself as a kind of self-reflection tool. And this is basically making sure that all of our workforce are ready and prepared to support people around COVID. So there are links to webinars, there are links to resources, links to find out where to download things, how staff can have confidence in a conversation, and how staff can help other people as well. So we've just put a link there at the bottom if you'd like to access that. It's not a requirement, but it could be a helpful tool in any conversations with any staff working on the festival. I think that's it from me. So I will stop sharing, and I'm not sure how I change that you're the host, Linda, or do I need to do anything?
You don't for now, that's fine.
Okay.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll move on to talk a little bit about the actual venue of Leeds City Museum. The events at the museum are on across 3 consecutive days: Thursday the 9th of September, Friday the 10th of September, and Saturday the 11th of September. All of those events from the public perspective will start at 10:30 and they will run through till 3:30. We have access to the museum from 9:30 on those days. So we have an hour basically to set up. There will be, you need to come in, sorry, I think Leslie's going to talk to us about the entrances and so on, but what we've actually got is a programme of events across all 3 days. And those of you that are running events on those 3 days should know when your slot is, but all of those events are also listed on the Age Proud Festival website. We're using 2 rooms, which is the Broderick Hall and the Thoresby room, and those will be signposted for people to use. If you're delivering an activity that is a kind of loud, noisy event, then that's likely to be in the Broderick Hall. The quieter events, such as the yoga and Tai Chi and poetry, those will be in the much quieter space of the Thoresby room. And there will be a marketplace. So those of you who are delivering marketplace activities will be in the Broderick Hall, and tables will be placed around the edge of the hall for you to use. We'll have plenty of time to shine staff and partners around the room so that you'll be assisted to find your slot. I think the best thing to do in terms of timing is, if you want to come into those events, obviously you're welcome to come to the whole event, be there for the whole day, and to encourage people that you work with to do the same. But if you want to come along to be just delivering your own activity, then I would suggest you get to us for a good 30 minutes prior to your actual event beginning, so that we have the opportunity of that transition from the last event and into yours. If you have any queries about what you need to have available for the event, then you need to let us know and contact Leslie or myself at the festival email address or my email address, which you should all have in your regular communications that you've had with us. Yes, I think that's me. So I'll pass on to Leslie. You can sort of talk a bit more about the practicalities of getting into the building.
Okay. The museum is a beautiful building with big airy rooms. Thankfully, the main entrance is the only entrance that our visitors will be arriving through. So as you approach the museum, you will see some signage outside which is promoting the festival. People can come either up the stairs, or there's also a ramp that people can use to get into the main area of the museum. Within the reception area, we will have a reception desk, and we will direct people to come to the desk and register their attendance. The desk will also have registration for the smaller events, which are to be held downstairs in the Thoresby room. And because these events are going to be limited to the number of people who can actually take part, because obviously we have to maintain COVID safety, we will be limiting those events to whatever the museum has decided. They were doing a risk assessment yesterday, and we're still waiting the information about maximum numbers of people in that room. But as soon as we know, we will make sure that nobody registers that is not within that agreed number. So on the reception desk, there will be registrations for each of the activities that need active participation. And we will keep a note of everybody who is taking part, so that those who are hosting those events will know who to expect in their room at the time of the event. We'll also be asking people to sanitize, we'll be offering them masks, and we'll also be reminding them to keep distance whilst they're within the building. The Broderick Hall is a large, round, airy room, and it's open at the front to the fresh air because it goes straight in from the reception area. So that's a good thing as far as we're concerned, because we have air circulating the whole time. Those people who are performing in there will be in the centre of the room, and you will be either helped into the room with whatever you need to do by our staff, or you will set up your own situation, whatever you need for your performance. Those who have marketplace stores will be equally spaced around the outside of the room. You will have access to plugs, and you will have a table which is approximately 1500 by 750 millimeters wide. So it's about the size of a trestle table. So we will be spacing you out as far apart as possible to maintain safety. Those who are taking part in activity in the Thoresby room will go down the stairs to the smaller venue, and each will take the room in turn for their event. So please make sure that you're there in good time to set up what you need for your event. Okay.
Thank you very much. And I think we will also try and make sure that there is a QR code on the reception table so that people can scan that as they arrive as well. Sorry, go on, Rachel.
I was just going to add, I'm not sure if I quite said it right, so I'm just checking. When I talked about pingdemic and people not being told to isolate, that's if they have had their double vaccination or they're under 18. I'm not sure if I quite said that, and I'm just sat here panicking. So just in terms of people being contacted, if they've been in close proximity to somebody who has tested positive, they're not asked to self-isolate as long as they are double vaccinated or under 18. So just to make that really clear, sorry.
It's okay, no problem. Okay, so I suppose that the only thing left to say really is that what we need to do now is to publicise all of this activity and make sure that we actually get people there through the door and taking part in as safe a way as possible. You've all hopefully received a media pack from Leslie, which will have posters and lots of opportunities to have a poster that actually publicises your own specific event. But there's also opportunities now to use social media. We have a Facebook account and a Twitter account, and I'm sure you all do too. So if you can promote things as much as possible, and just remind us what the hashtag is for the festival. It's
hashtag AgeProudFest, F-E-S-T, all one word, and we use that on both Facebook and on Twitter. So if you could tag us or use that hashtag, that would be absolutely brilliant. So please just share, and also encourage people to visit the website where all the festival information is listed. It's listed by event, by day, so people can see every day of the festival what's going on around in the community. And we have been absolutely delighted to have received over 100 different events, both virtually and live, across the city. So please promote all the events, yours, everybody else's, promote the festival as being a really good thing for Leeds City and for the older community. Thank you.
So my final words really are just to say thank you to everybody for being so positive and contributing in such an enthusiastic way to the festival. It is our first festival, and so you might find on the days at the museum that we're all kind of a bit, but we will all be there to support you, and hopefully can all support each other to make this as positive an event and as one that feels safe and secure and reassuring, but also feels exciting and positive and something that we should be celebrating in the city. So thank you very much. We'll be sharing this digitally. If any of you have any questions after listening to this, all you need to do is drop an email to Leslie or myself. And also I would suggest that you look at the festival website just to check that the information that we're putting on about your own activity is actually correct. Okay, that's it, everybody. Thank you very much. I'll stop recording now. Thank you.